Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another throwback review. Today we have a set 7659, the Imperial landing craft. This set came out, I want to say 2009. Not 100% sure on the specific year, but I'm not even sure on the original release price. But what I do know is that this is the first variant of this. We've only ever had one variant since, which came out in 2018. It cost £80. I did buy. I think this one cost about 50, 60 quid retail back in the day. I do have the new one, but unfortunately not with me, so I won't be able to do any comparison, but I do have this. And I have to say, there are a lot more differences between the original between this version and the new version. So first off, we have 5 minifigures in the set. The older model had 5 minifigures as well, but a completely different lineup. In this set we have our 2 Stormtroopers, 2 Stormtroopers with pauldrons, and a Imperial TIE pilot. Now, the newer version, you've got R2-D2, Obi-Wan, 2 Sandtroopers, and Imperial landing craft pilot. I personally think this minifigure selection is obviously better. If you're going to buy a set like this, which is meant to drop off a lot of Stormtroopers, you're going to want enough Stormtroopers to fill it up, and you get exactly enough to fill up the entire ship, which is what I love about this set. So let's get into those minifigures. So starting off, we have just the standard Stormtrooper. As you can see, this is more of the original design, although it is slightly more updated because it is missing that split mouth. Like in the original version, they kind of had like a split in between here. I don't think they were able to like print on both sides, and if you lift it up, black head instead of the yellow or the standard clone trooper head they give nowadays. Next up is the Sandtrooper. Apologies, not Sandtrooper. I think this is a Commander, because it does have the pauldron and no backpack, so it's not actually a Sandtrooper. Again, standard black head is just a Stormtrooper with a pauldron, but I do really like it, and I do like the fact that they gave you 2 in this set, because normally when you get like a pauldron Stormtrooper, you typically get 1, but in this set they give you 2, which is really awesome. And last but not least is our TIE pilot. Yeah, I love these old TIE pilots. They're awesome. There's really not much to them, but I think that the helmets look really cool because it's just a standard Stormtrooper with just 2 Imperial symbols pointed to the top, but it does kind of look cool, and you can kind of see, if you look closely, you can see where they've like indentation where the mouthpiece is normally on a Stormtrooper, but obviously on this, completely black. Right, let's get on to the set. With the ship front and centre, you can now get a better look at it. Obviously, the wings are quite tall. But starting off in the cockpit, it can lift up and down. There we go. You can take it off. It is just clipped on there, and you can open it up, and you have a printed control panel and room for your pilot. They can sit upright, and the cockpit will fit them. There's nothing really else to the cockpit. It's a shame you can only fit a single minifigure inside the cockpit rather than like maybe 2. I feel like an extra one would have been a nice addition, but you know, like you can't have everything. Now, you probably noticed that the spring-loaded missiles came out, so this does have spring-loaded missiles, not the newer version, the old big rubber ones. And the way to fire them is you simply press on the sticking out blaster cannon. There we go. And they fire. Pretty big, pretty effective. I really like this, but the problem is, once you open up the compartments and look inside, you can see where the problem comes from in the fact that it takes up a large portion of the storage room, just one. So on each side, it's taking up a large portion of the storage. Oh, another thing that the connections on this hatch are not very good. They're very, very flimsy. These bits here, this actually looks, in my opinion, a little bit better than the newer version, because in the newer version they've got that gap between this top bit and the lower bit, but in this that gap is less noticeable. It's just the gap in between here and here. But these panels are very, very flimsy. Not a huge fan of that design, but as you can see inside we've got some different things going on. So in order to detach the bottom compartment, you've got one here, and then one at the back. You simply disconnect them, and then detach the top part of the dropship, and you have your entire inside compartment to play around with. So at the back we've got bomb dropping functions. So I want to say it's like this. Yeah. So you do need to like tilt it a bit to get them all to drop out. It's not the most amazing function. When I originally did it, I'd press down like that, which made more sense to me because that's more accessible than that. But that just kind of dropped into the main compartment, so be careful not to do that. You also have room for 4 Stormtroopers. So let's get our Stormtroopers. You stand one behind the gun turret, like so, and as you can see, it does actually have room for their blasters, which is why they weren't holding blasters. You get 2 long blasters, 2 shorter blasters, and then you can sit your Stormtroopers down. Now, the thing is, if you wanted to fit more Stormtroopers in here, you 100% could. If you wanted to get as many Stormtroopers in there as you possibly could, I definitely think if you remove those blasters here and here, and definitely here and here, you could probably fit a 3rd Stormtrooper there, and then you could definitely fit 4 Stormtroopers in this little area if you remove the chairs and the blaster holders. So you can actually get a lot more storage, but it does require some modification. Whilst the newer version, you can fit a total of 8 in there without modifying the ship in any way. So I do think that is much better. Now we just tap the roof, close up the compartments, and take a look at the back. Right at the back we've got the engines. For some reason, I never really got this, but for some reason the end bit engines are on, like, they're one stud raised. Don't really get it, but you know. And then you've got this big mechanism sticking out the back with the gears on the back, which allow you to fold down the wings. I actually think that the new one did a better job, because although I do like the mechanism of folding these wings out, the gears stick out really badly and it doesn't look particularly nice. And whilst the new one, you just had the ridged connector, so you could just fold it down, which I still think is better. Another thing is there's not a lot of plating here. This area, like, there's nothing to like smooth it out. When I get home, I'm definitely going to add some modifications to smooth things out, make it look a lot more sleeker. But yeah, this was the build. There's only one more bit that I want to show you, which is the instructions, and then we get into final thoughts. So here are our instructions. They're quite thick. This one also, by this point, they labelled the parts in the menu, but there's always something cool in the instructions, something a bit extra. So you've got this cool little piece of art at the back with loads of dropships flying, those Stormtroopers walking out, advertisements for Lego Club magazine, the parts list, and then advertisements for the other sets in the wave. We have the Y-Wing, which I do actually have with me, although I never really replaced the yellow bits. I have grey in there instead, but we also have the ATST, so I've got the parts now and that's fully fixed up. And General Grievous' Starfighter. I don't have this version of General Grievous' Starfighter, I probably never will, but who knows, one day. Flip over the page and it's the same advertisement, but this time you have room for your battle packs, the clone and droid army ones. And that was actually my first battle pack. My brother got that one. And then you just have pictures of the functions of the set. So my final thoughts, I won't lie, I'm a huge fan of this set. I love the Imperial dropships, I love the First Order Transporter, the Republic gunship, I love all the troop transports in Star Wars, I can't help it. And this one is no exception. I think it has parts that I really like above the older model. Like, this one is more armed, you've got more gun showing, which I think looks really cool. And it has the bomb function as well as troop storage. But it does, I think the older one is 100% a much better improvement on this, but I still think this holds up really well today. Minus like a few gaps in the plating, it looks great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this throwback review. Leave a like if you did, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.